3. The Emperor's New Clothes. Reading. Read the following story of an emperor who had a great craze for new clothes. Once there lived an emperor who was very fond of wearing new clothes. He cared for nothing except to look for new clothes, waistcoats, tunics, and caps. The emperor spent lots of money for his treasury on buying new clothes. One day, two crooks came to the city. They wanted to cheat the emperor and make a lot of money. They went to the palace pretending to be weavers. "We are weavers. The cloth we can weave is the finest ever seen," said one. The emperor listened to their claim and believed that they were really very good weavers who could weave the finest cloth for him. The emperor gave them a bag full of gold and silk yarn to begin weaving at once. Then one of the rogues cautioned the emperor, "Your Majesty, our cloth will be visible to only those who are wise and worthy of high office." "Okay," said the emperor, as he wondered at the fine quality of the cloth. The fake weavers and the wonderful cloth that they were weaving became the talk of the town. Meanwhile, the cheats set up looms in a room specially built for them. They sought more and more gold and silk yarn, which the emperor granted immediately. The rogues sent false reports to the emperor that they were busy weaving cloth with fine patterns. After some weeks had passed, the emperor said that he would himself go to see whether the weaving of the new cloth was finished or not. But for one reason or the other, the emperor could not go there each time. A very honest man was appointed master of wardrobes to inspect the weaver's work. The emperor whispered to the master of wardrobes that he would depend on his report for the good quality of cloth being woven by the new weavers. As the emperor was speaking to the master of wardrobes, the rogues appeared in the royal chamber and asked for more silk yarn. The emperor gave them plenty of brightly colored silk yarn. "I very much like blue," said the emperor, "and make certain that you use this color the most in weaving new cloth." The two rogues had rented a house at a far off place from the palace in the town. The master of wardrobes made his way to their house, but he was informed that the weavers did not work at their looms in the afternoon, and had gone to take some rest in their lodging. "The emperor has ordered me to inspect the weaving, so you take me to your looms," he said, as one of the fake weavers opened the door, "and show me what progress you have made." Stacking his bag with gold and rich silk, the rogue told him to wait outside before they would take him with them to show their progress. On the way they talked with great pride of their great weaving work. "The cloth will dazzle your eyes, sir," said one. "You will simply feel enthralled at the new patterns," remarked the other. Then they came to their workplace. The master of wardrobes stood staring at the empty looms. He rubbed his eyes and saw again lest he should be missing something. But the frames were empty. The master of wardrobe thought that if he disclosed the truth, he would prove himself unwise and unworthy of high office. So he decided to pretend and praise the magnificent quality of the cloth. The master of wardrobes returned to the emperor's chamber. "What is your report on the weaver's work, my master of wardrobes?" said the emperor. Extraordinary! Excellent! Exclaimed the poor master. Never before have I seen such beautiful patterns, my lord. They are so artistically done. Wonderful! Exclaimed the emperor. I believe what you say. Thereafter, the emperor sent other officials to report the progress in the work. They all spoke high of the weavers as they did not want to prove themselves unwise. In the meantime, many noblemen and ladies came to see the weavers working, but to their utter surprise, they noticed no cloth on the empty looms. Now the emperor expressed his willingness to visit the splendid weavers himself. The emperor took with him several of his trustworthy counselors and some clever members of the court, who were very wise. The two rugs somehow came to know that the emperor was coming to inspect their work. They heard the approach of the emperor a long way off. Meanwhile, they took their positions at the loom, pretending to be busy weaving the wonderful cloth for the emperor. When the emperor arrived, they pretended to be so busy with their work that they took no notice of him. Soon, however, they got up from their empty looms and bowed to the emperor. The emperor was taken aback when he looked attentively at the loom, which was empty. Is there something seriously wrong with my eyes? He thought. Tell us, please, your majesty, what do you think of the gorgeous cloth? Said one rogue. The emperor was in a terrible fix. If he said that he could not see anything on the loom, the people might say that their emperor was not fit to rule over them. So he nodded in appreciation. Yes, yes, the cloth is quite superb. I am happy with it. All other members of the emperor's party also agreed with the emperor. Yes, 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 very beautiful. They too, like the emperor, were afraid of speaking the truth. The weavers finally arrived at the appointed time with the new designer dress. The emperor greeted them with a smile. The two cheats pretended to be helping the emperor into his new robe, and the attendants of the emperor cried, "Oh, how wonderful they are, your majesty! What perfect fitting! What colors!" The emperor then sat before a huge mirror. He saw it was very clear that he had no clothes on his bare body. But how could he admit it? On the contrary, he said, "Yes, yes, they fit my body correctly." A grand procession was to start from the palace. The musicians and the trumpeters were all ready for the big event. The emperor, wearing his new dress, left the palace and came down on the streets. None of the spectators was bold enough to smile. Instead, some said, "How splendid our emperor appears today! What gorgeous robes! What colors!" Then a little boy cried out, "Look, father, our mighty emperor is not wearing anything." The father tried to hush up his son, but those around him were already beginning to smile and chuckle. Then there were peals of laughter. Suddenly, the emperor realized that what his people had said was true and that he had been robbed and cheated by the two rogues. How ashamed he was at his foolishness and craze for new clothes. The emperor learnt a lesson and reformed his habits. Adapted from Hans Christian Andersen's The Emperor's New Clothes.